Welcome to the Rewrite Your Story with Tasha Joe podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the vast realm of thoughts, ideas, and conversations that know no bounds. Buckle up and prepare for a wild ride as we venture into uncharted territories and explore the unexplored. On this journey, we leave no stone unturned and no topic untouched. From the profound to the absurd, from the mundane to the extraordinary, we delve into the depths of human curiosity and embrace the sheer unpredictability of life. This is the podcast where anything and everything takes center stage. Each episode is a thrilling adventure into the unknown as we bring you fascinating discussions, captivating stories, and mind-bending perspectives. As we embark on a quest for knowledge, enlightenment, and endless entertainment. Expect the unexpected, for here there are no boundaries and no limitations. Open your mind, expand your horizons, and get ready to be captivated by the infinite possibilities that await. So whether you're a seeker of knowledge, a lover of stories, or simply someone who craves the thrill of the unknown, this podcast is tailor-made just for you. Tune in, fasten your seatbelt, and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the vast expanse of human curiosity. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and entertained, because on this podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. Welcome to the Rewrite Your Story with Tasha Joe podcast, where we fearlessly dive into the vast realm of thoughts, ideas, and conversations that know no bounds. Buckle up and prepare for a wild ride as we venture into uncharted territories and explore the unexplored. On this journey, we leave no stone unturned and no topic untouched. From the profound to the absurd, from the mundane to the extraordinary, we delve into the depths of human curiosity and embrace the sheer unpredictability of life. This is the podcast where anything and everything takes center stage. Each episode is a thrilling adventure into the unknown as we bring you fascinating discussions, captivating stories, and mind-bending perspectives. As we embark on a quest for knowledge, enlightenment, and endless entertainment. Expect the unexpected, for here there are no boundaries and no limitations. Open your mind, expand your horizons, and get ready to be captivated by the infinite possibilities that await. So whether you're a seeker of knowledge, a lover of stories, or simply someone who craves the thrill of the unknown, this podcast is tailor-made just for you. Tune in, fasten your seatbelt, and prepare for a roller coaster ride through the vast expanse of human curiosity. Get ready to be amazed, enlightened, and entertained, because on this podcast, there's only one rule. There are no rules. Welcome back, beautiful friends. It has been quite a while since I have gotten back to podcasting. On today's episode, I have a special guest, Maxwell. Welcome, Maxwell.
Hey, guys.
It's been, like 10 episodes, I think, since we recorded one.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
A lot has happened.
I know, right? Where do we even start?
Well, I mean, you haven't done an episode in quite a while. A lot's happened with you.
Yeah.
Why don't we dive into that a little bit?
Okay, so you're right. I did one mini episode. For those of you who don't know, I lost my fiance the first week in January, and I think it was probably maybe a month ago I did a little mini episode on grief, but I haven't really talked a whole lot about getting back to work and whatnot, and I keep putting it off, but I told Maxwell, I'm like, hey, we need to just do this. Let's go. So yeah, a lot has happened, even in your life too. I mean, yeah, married.
Yeah.
Pregnant.
Baby on the way.
Yeah, baby boy.
Yep.
Oh my goodness, so exciting.
Maybe, I guess share with the listeners your process of coming back after experiencing this major shift in your life, and maybe telling that story other people can resonate and also be inspiring for those maybe experiencing the same journey or similar journey as you are, or someone they know. Yeah, your story is amazing and people need to hear it, and it could be really beneficial for others.
Yeah, gosh, I guess I don't even really know where to start. As you know, you've been there by my side through the whole process, and it's been unbearable and one of the toughest things that I've ever been through. I feel like I'm somebody who's pretty strong and who can handle a lot, but this one really rocked me hard. And It was unexpected. When we went into the hospital, they told us he was going to be okay. And I was there the whole time. And within 2 minutes, I get pushed out of the room and then I come back and he's gone. And so that was really, really hard. I feel that the hospital was responsible, and that's something I've been waiting to talk about on air. It's just been really challenging because I was just the fiance, and that's something I'm working on a workbook right now for people, because you need to really think about the people you love and care about, because I know how much Austin loved me and how much he cared about me. And if we would have had things in order, or like passwords or just all these things that to protect the people that you love about, it's been very challenging for me because I couldn't get anywhere. I tried calling lawyers and I talked to 15 different lawyers and I couldn't get anywhere because legally I wasn't his wife, you know?
Mhm.
And then getting back to work, I'm so grateful that I had the amazing support that I did, because nobody ever asked me, when are you coming back to work? I just took the time I needed. And then finally I realized, okay, I need to get back to work and get back to life. But it's every day is still a challenge. Some days I feel like I'm just floating. I don't even remember being present during my day.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe describe your own process as to taking the time you needed, realizing or taking the time you needed to going back to work, and even we'll continue after that.
Luckily, from all the healing that I've been doing over the years, that definitely had an advantage for me. I wouldn't say it's any less painful, but it definitely made it easier to navigate because I had all the tools. But I think the most important thing was allowing myself the time to process everything and having the support from everybody.
To feel everything.
Yeah. I mean, the first month I couldn't listen to music. I couldn't have anything on. And anybody that knows me, I always have to have music going. And I just wanted silence. I was just trying to connect with them. And I didn't want anybody to come over. I didn't want to go anywhere. I'll never forget the first time I actually left the house. I think it was a month later. And it just felt weird, even driving, being out there. And
Everything changed.
yeah, big
It's
time.
like putting on a different pair of glasses.
For sure.
Different, or like a augmented reality kind
Yeah.
of headset. Right?
And nobody ever thinks it's going to happen to them. Like,
Right.
nobody prepares for it. And grief is different. One thing I want to say is I lost my brother in 2018, and losing Austin was completely different. You would think losing a sibling would be far worse than losing a friend or a spouse. But for me, that's not the case. Austin was my best friend, the love of my life. And it just, yeah, it rocked me really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad you took the time you needed and
Yeah.
to feel through all those things. I find, in my experience, a lot of people
Push it down.
Yeah, push those things down and bury it inside their body. And
Then it resurfaces later.
yeah.
Yeah, and I knew I did not want that to happen.
Yeah. So that's really awesome. Doing breathwork journeys and being in those vulnerable spaces, like that's what the breathwork is eliciting,
Yeah.
is these buried emotions, because the pathway through these obstacles, these challenges, these strong emotions is to feel through them completely.
You got to feel it to heal it.
Exactly. Yeah.
Mhm.
That's why and I know that term sounds so corny,
Yeah.
but it's really true, because when you pack these feelings down, and there's nowhere for these feelings to go, and over time it latches on to every aspect of your life, and
Yep.
to the point to every aspect of your reality.
Yeah.
And when you are able to give yourself space to be vulnerable, to have this supportive space, and the courage
Yeah.
to really allow yourself to lean into this discomfort, that's where a lot of the healing and magic happens.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's one of those things that's like everybody's journey is completely different, for sure. And don't let anybody tell you you should be doing this or any of that. Like, there's, I've gotten really good at that. And like I
Yeah, me
said, I
too.
have that advantage to where It's just I've had a lot of practice and I take healing very seriously. So it's made it easier to navigate, not less painful, but easier to navigate for sure. And I would say, I don't want to say I'm going backwards, but the first month I grieved really hard. And then getting back to work, I was so busy with things. And then when things started slowing down lately, I know Austin will be with me forever. It's different every day. Some days I'm okay, and some days I just don't even want to get out of bed.
So when did you decide, hey, I want to go back to work? What was that for you?
It just kind of came to me. I remember just feeling like, okay, it's time. I made that choice where what would Austin want? And I knew how much he supported me and how much he believed in me. And I kind of asked myself, I was like, okay, Tosh, you can stay in this cage forever, or you can get out there and do something about it. And it was just this like shift where I'm like, it's not going to be easy, but I know it's what I need to do. Yeah. And so I slowly just gradually worked my way back into it. And I still am. Every day is a new day, but I try and just really think about that. And I want to make him proud. And I just know how much he believed in Mystic Movement and me. And so that's what gets me through each day right now. Yeah.
Can I ask you a more personal question?
Absolutely. You know me, I'm an open book. I have nothing to hide.
You doing it for him or are you doing it for you?
Both.
Yeah.
I think he's the one that inspires me to get me going, but I've always been somebody who I believe in myself and I know what I'm capable of, but he is the one that's definitely like fueling the fire right now, for sure. Yeah.
So what would your advice be for someone going through a similar experience?
Just take your time. There's no right way to go about it. This is your journey and yours alone, and day by day, day by day. It's been almost 4 months now, and just surrendering and allowing myself to just go with what I'm feeling each day. Yeah. It's a journey for sure.
Yeah.
And what's so wild too is part of my journey and all the challenges that I've been through over the years. I've accepted a long time ago that my path and my purpose is bigger and it's meant to overcome challenges and whatnot. And this last year, my intuition was telling me you're going to lose somebody that's close to you because everything I've been through, it's like I know I'm meant to go through those things. So I have the knowledge and the experience to help others. And my gut was just telling me you're going to go through this, but I never in a million years thought it would be the love of my life. I thought it would be like a friend or a parent or, yeah, this one just, it rocked me to my core. Yeah. But I feel like I'm doing really good despite certain days and certain things and stuff. I feel like I've seen other people through their grieving stages and how long or how they handle things. And I feel like I'm doing as good as I can, Yeah. So, and I know he's still here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about Breathwork. You host Breathwork twice a month. And why don't we tell people exactly what that is and what it's like?
Yeah. I found a lot of people don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Or like when other people talk about, oh yeah, come do breathwork, like they don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
So if you've never heard of breathwork before, somatic breathwork is utilizing your breath to activate your body, in simple terms. The breath is the only part of our autonomous nervous system. Like everything else runs on autopilot.
Yeah.
Right? Our heart beating, our digestion, everything else that's like out of our control.
Yeah.
And the only one thing that is in our control in that system is our breath. And what's amazing about that is when you're consciously utilizing your breath, most people, you breathe, and you're just like, oh, I'm breathing, right? It's very much an unconscious process. But when you bring your consciousness to it and utilize different breathing patterns, you can actually change the state of your body. And I'm not someone that gets super technical.
Yeah.
There's people out there that can spit out to you science facts and all that. That's
But then nobody knows or a lot of people don't even know what they're
right.
talking
Like
about. So
that's never been me. I've
Yeah.
learned to accept that. So utilizing the breath to change the state of your body and the state of your nervous system.
Yeah.
So there's different ways, different breathing techniques out there that you can achieve those outcomes, but most of them are grouped into an activating breath, a balance, neutral kind of like coming back to balance, and then a down regulating breath.
Yeah.
So an example of activating breaths would be to like put yourself into an amped up mode, a kind of a fight or flight mode. So this would be beneficial to say like you have a big presentation coming up where you have to speak in front of a lot of people. You want to activate your body so that you're pumped, you
Yeah.
have a lot of energy and you kind of go after it. Like a balancing breath is maybe trying to come out of that.
Yeah.
That being pumped, right? Or just being in a zen balanced state. And then there for the down regulation ones, it's like trying to relax your body into a relaxing state. And for the breathwork journeys that I do, it's a little bit different. It's along the same lines. You're still utilizing the breath to change the state of your body and the state of your nervous system. But this is in a journey, it is prolonged with the same breathwork techniques with some certain breath holds involved. The reason for a breathwork journey and what you're actually doing to your body is slowing down your brain waves while at the same time activating your body. And what's really cool about when these two aspects intersect is when you downregulate or when you slow down your brain waves, you're more able to connect with your heart, with your body. And also your psyche gets removed out of the equation. So your ego is kind of removed. Your barriers or defense mechanisms are also removed because that's in the psyche. And things that are stored in your body as your body's being activated from this like over oxygenation and like all these things going on, things start coming up. And it can be an intense process. It can also be a really beautiful process. It really depends on the state you're at and how open you are to yourself, really.
Yeah.
And how open you are to your capacity to process these things and how much willing you're able to trust the process, dive in and let go. And breathwork journeys really, they simulate a medicine journey. It is a self-induced like psychedelic state, but without the substances.
Yeah.
So the medicine is your own breath.
Yeah.
And what's amazing about that is you are completely in control of the whole process. When you're doing the deep breathing, a lot of things are coming up. Your body's activating all these. You have a lot of feelings, emotions, things that arise. And if at any point it becomes too much, you can always switch the breathing technique and then back out of it. So there's like a gas and a brake, and if however something comes up and you're like, hey, today's the day I want to punch through this wall. You breathe deeper, you breathe harder, and you dive deeper. And
you're not alone doing it in these breathwork classes. If you're at home, I would advise people to know what you're doing, learn about it. But Maxwell is facilitating, and there too, he goes around and he's helping people as they're going.
And that's an important aspect of a breathwork journey is building this, what I call the sacred container.
Yeah.
And what this container is, you're pretty much sealing everyone that's participating in the journey away from the outside world.
Yeah.
Right? So everyone's in a room. We shut the door. No one bothers us.
Yeah.
No one. I mean, unless you have to go use the bathroom, which you help. Except for that, the container stays closed, and whatever happens in the container just happens in the container. And also, with that, giving everyone all the information on what to expect and helping people feel connected and safe and also relaxed in their body. And in the safe and supportive environment, because the formula for healing is safety plus vulnerability equals healing. So making you and your body feel safe enough to be vulnerable, to dive into yourself, knowing that the facilitator and everyone involved are all on the same wavelength, that we're just here. Everyone's doing their journey. This facilitator is there to support with nothing but love and kindness.
Yeah.
And also being a physical witness to you processing these things is also really big healing aspect.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the breath work, the sacred container, and those are the biggest aspects of the breathwork journey. When the journey's done, there's time for integration, and the people that are open to talking from in the group are open to talk. If there needs to be a one-on-one with me, we can step aside, or any integration support needed once the session or the journey is over.
Yeah.
And one thing I do need to mention too is that it is important when you're doing this work to have a good safety network with either a counselor you can talk to, things that have been that surfaced during the breathwork session, or a close relative or partner that can help support you, that because it's not always sunshine and rainbows, and everyone's experience is
So
different.
different.
Everyone's journey is different. Even if you've gone through multiple breathwork journeys before, you'll know that not one journey is the same.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be something there maybe you didn't expect to come up, or maybe surfaced and it kind of shook you a little bit or disrupt your current way of operating. And so it's important to have a supportive community around that to help you process that.
Yeah, I'll never forget my first breathwork session I did. I enrolled in Catherine Zankina's Manifestation Babe Academy, and it was the most insane thing. I'm laying on my couch and my hands turned into lobster claws and my body started vibrating, and then I start crying, and I had no idea why I was crying. But then I later learned sometimes you don't necessarily need to know why. You're just releasing those trapped emotions.
Yeah, and thank you for bringing that up, because when you do activate the body and hyperoxygenate, because the breathing technique is a continuous inhale and exhale.
Yeah.
There's slight variations, but it's a full diaphragmatic breath. So all the way in, filling up your chest and your stomach, expanding everything, and then a relaxation exhale.
Yeah.
And you do this without pausing in between. So listeners, try it for a few breaths and you can already feel something happening in your body, right?
Yeah.
And the clamping, it's called tetany.
Oh,
So
I heard lobster claws.
Yeah,
yeah.
It's also called lobster claws. I like to call it T-Rex hands.
Yeah.
It's this kind of cramping sensation you can get in your hands. Sometimes it's in your throat, your mouth.
And you can pull out of it anytime too.
Yeah, that's the cool thing about being in control of the whole situation. But what's happening is it's a really cool phenomenon, and it's completely normal. And it's not always uncomfortable, but if it is too uncomfortable, you can always switch and back out of it. But breathwork isn't about being comfortable.
Yeah.
It's not
doing the inner work.
It's not. Sometimes people think it's like a fad or something, or yoga, where it's relaxing. It can be, but everyone's different, But the point of breathwork journeys is to be in discomfort. It's kind of like yin yoga.
Yeah.
It's like you're in these poses for an extended period of time. It's not great, but it's good for your body.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep.
But being able to sit in that discomfort, pushing yourself to your edge, because it's also edge work. Maybe into the dark shadows of your emotions, shadow work.
Yep.
A lot of what we do is also inner child work.
Yeah.
Reconnecting with your inner child and telling it, like finding it and then telling it what it needed to hear. And then coming to your inner child as your adult self, as everything you know now, and really parenting your inner child. What else? There's
Yeah, it's easier to just keep doing what you're doing and going about day to day, but it's hard work to
yeah, it's
do
not
the
for the
inner work.
faint of heart.
Yeah, but
And
it takes courage and takes discipline, but it's so rewarding.
yeah, I
I
was
mean,
just gonna say it's
I
so
just
beautiful.
thinking about my life 5 years ago and just even each year, I'll never stop.
Yeah.
I love it.
Imagine, I like to use this analogy. Imagine it's like breathwork journeys are like climbing a mountain.
Yeah,
You, it's difficult climbing these mountains. But once you get to the peak and over and you just see the view and you're like, wow, why aren't I climbing mountains every day?
right. Isn't that the whole point of stepping out of your comfort zone? It's like
Yeah.
when you do, you think it's going to be scary, but then you do, and you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad, or that was so good.
Yeah.
But so many of us stay in our comfort zone. And I think that's the one thing I want to encourage people out there is ask yourself, when was the last time you did something that scared you or did
Hmm.
something that was out of your comfort zone, and how did it turn out? We should be doing more of that. And it's just one of those things every day, and start small. You don't have to go big, but just do one small thing,
Right.
you know?
And one amazing thing too is the ability to expand your capacity for a lot of things and expand your capacity for life pretty much, because through this practice, being in the discomfort, facing your shadows,
Mm-hmm.
reparenting your inner child, working through traumas that arise and all these difficult emotions, you're really expand and feeling into all of it and healing through all of it. You're really expanding your capacity to feel, to experience.
Yeah.
And so when you exit the container and reintegrate back into daily life, you realize you have this expanded capacity carries with you, and you're able to experience life so much more vividly,
Mm-hmm.
and you get to show up more authentically. And yeah.
And when you do this work, you're not just healing yourself, you are
Mm.
healing everybody around you. I think that's my favorite part.
Even your generational trauma.
Yeah, big time,
Yeah.
big time. And I think that's the most important part is I think the whole goal is to be in service of others, right?
Mhm.
But you have to show up for yourself before being able to provide for others. But by doing the inner work and the healing, that is your way of showing up for yourself and others.
Yeah, and also being the chain breaker for
Yeah,
all these maybe
cycle breaker. Yeah.
dysfunctions that have been happening in your family that gets passed on from generation to generation. And even I think science has been looking into that it's actually passed down also through your DNA.
Oh, it is
Yeah.
100%.
And even with the breath work, you're going through the process. You are
Mm-hmm.
literally doing soul surgery. You are reprogramming yourself. You are altering your own DNA. There's
Yeah.
like a cellular,
It's called trauma cycling.
yeah, there's like a
Mm-hmm.
cellular reorganization through everything, and that permeates to your entire existence.
Yeah.
And essentially, I guess if I wanted to put breathwork journeys into a nutshell, it's a invitation for you to come home.
Yeah.
And
Come home to yourself
even
for
saying that
sure.
kind of brought me to tears,
Yeah.
because it's so true. You're just shedding all the programming, all the BS, all everyone's ever
Stories,
thought.
limiting beliefs.
Yeah, everyone's ever taught you about your reality, and you get to redefine yourself and redefine what your reality means to you, and
Mm-hmm.
to really experience this existence to the fullest of your capabilities, shedding one layer at a time. Some people have major transformations in an
Mm-hmm.
hour. Some people take a little bit
Yeah.
more sessions, layer after layer. But really, when you go into a breathwork journey, like, don't really have any expectation. And the whole reason,
No expectations, no disappointments.
yeah.
One of my favorites.
But yeah, it's really coming home to yourself. And similar to medicine journeys, breathwork journeys, really finding out who you are.
I think one of my favorite sayings that I learned from Louise Hay, How to Heal Your Life, is that true?
Hmm.
Asking yourself that, because it's here we are programmed to believe that this is who we are because of how we were raised or what we were taught. But really start asking yourself about these stories that you are continuously telling yourself. is that true? And get to the root of it, because you may believe it, but it's not even facts. It's not even the truth. And you can be whoever you want to be. Like any day you can reinvent yourself. And I'm actively every day reinventing myself.
That's part of this existence,
Yeah.
I think,
Yeah.
to find out who you are and to live it to the fullest extent you possibly can.
Another thing too is I'm enrolled in this academy right now. I just got certified as a spiritual life coach, but I'm learning so much. A lot of it is just refreshing my memory, but you have to practice too. We are so intuitive. We are all psychic. We all have different abilities. And for those of you who know about the clairs, certain people have stronger clairs than others. I know that me personally, I'm claircognizant. I have that inner knowing. It's like I know things without any hard evidence. And then I've been told that I'm clairaudient. And recently in my academy, we had to go through these practice rounds, and there was this medium who did a session with this gal. And in my head, I kept hearing grandpa, grandpa. But my ego, my mind wanted to be like, I'm putting that there. That's the clairaudience that I'm learning that I have. And so she starts doing this reading and starts talking about her daughter who just passed. And I'm like, damn, I was wrong. And then as it went through, like maybe 5 minutes later, then it was all about the grandpa. And I was like, oh my God, that's why I heard. So it's like you kind of need to practice and hear that validation in order to know too. You have to practice. But I think also like those types of practices, yes, doing that so you hear the validation. But when it comes back to yourself, I think that's the number one problem is everyone's seeking validation for approval. We have to go inwards, and we are guts, we know, but we tend to seek that validation from others.
Why is that?
Yeah. Trauma. Yeah. And hey, we're all guilty of it. We still do it, but recognizing it and acknowledging it and then shifting it. Yeah.
And figuring out where that's coming from.
Yes. Getting to the root of it.
Yeah. I remember when I seeked a lot of external validation, and I'm no saint. I'm human. I like my human experience. I fall into enjoying or sometimes seeking external validation, but I'm aware of it. But I remember when that was like I needed that so bad, and through my journey I realized it was tied to a lack of self-worth and a self-realization, and
that's what it is. Not trusting yourself.
Right. Or not even realizing the amazing person that you are. So along my healing journey, I felt like I found myself. I want to say that, but there's always more to find.
Yeah,
right?
For sure.
But there was a point where I really had to stand face to face with myself and have my sense of self completely obliterated. To be able to pick up the pieces and put it back together and begin to see the person as I really am and fall in love with that person.
Yeah.
Because we are exactly who we were looking for this whole time. It's just been masked by so many things. We think we'll find it in someone else. We're always this seeking, but if you want the cheat code to everything, every person that comes into your life, good or bad, everything that's happened to you, exactly. It's a mirror for you to look in yourself and to find what you are looking for in you.
Yeah.
And, me doing breathwork, like that's why I fell in love with breathwork. It's an invitation for that. It's not for everyone, but there are other modalities as well to help you look into that mirror, to polish that mirror. And
I think the biggest thing that was a game changer for me was when I started working on triggers and knowing that everything is a mirror. And so recognizing any time anyone or anything would get a disturbance out of me. So it was something where you're going about your day and you would feel that, like, for me, it would like start in my stomach and come up through my chest and then to my throat and wanting to react. And I would have to recognize that and stop and triggers. Anytime somebody would trigger me, before I would react, I would respond instead, because I would recognize, okay, what is this teaching me right now?
Mm-hmm.
This is an unhealed part of myself. And I started dialing down on that. And that's why I don't argue with people. People can say the meanest shit or whatever. And I'm just over here like, okay, let them. That's so funny that you say that, because oh my goodness, that's so great. Not only do I have it tattooed on me, but I bought the Let Them book.
I know,
Love
shout
Mel
out
Robbins.
to Mel Robbins.
Oh my goodness, love her. And I bought that book on pre-order right before Christmas, and I've had it for months and months, and I haven't read it, because I've obviously been going through stuff, but
I actually haven't read it.
You haven't read it yet?
I've like heard her podcast.
Oh yeah, me too.
I understand exactly
Oh, for
what
sure,
she's
but you
talking
got to read the book.
Okay, fine.
No, I'm telling you, I am right there with you, but
I feel like I'm very much already a Let Them
Me too.
kind of
Oh, I
person.
am too. But recently I text my mom, because she's going through a really hard time right now. And I said, hey, do you want to read a book together? Because I was just recently
cool.
listening to another one of Mel Robbins' podcasts, and she was talking about reading books with people. I'm like, that sounds great. So I recommended it to my mom. She ordered it off Amazon. I said, hey, let's read this together, chapter by chapter, and then let's talk about it. And so we've been doing that the last couple nights, and it's just been a game changer. I mean, I've been living my life with the Let Them theory, for a long time, and that's why I wanted to get it tattooed on me. But the book, it goes so much more in depth. I mean, I'm only a couple chapters in, but we just started that. And I think another thing, I mean, for me is accountability partners. That's huge for me. I thrive off that. Like, I have so many books I haven't read, but if I get somebody who's like, hey, want to read a book together, I'm all about it. But getting me to just pick it up and read, I'm going to procrastinate, find other things to do. And then she goes into the let me theory.
Oh,
Yeah.
what's that?
Well, I can't, spill the tea on that. You got to
Spoiler
find out. You
alert.
got to read the book. And I just started reading about it. But it's because it all comes back to self, like you were saying, let them not disturb your peace. Let them do what they're doing.
Yeah.
And let me be,
That's something I realized through my journey too, is how much I value my peace.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. And lately, I have been, let me tell you, ever since losing Austin, I mean, that one was the tip of the iceberg. But since then, as you know, there have been multiple things that have been happening.
I remember the question.
Oh, yeah. What's the question? Let's hear it.
What do you think that whole experience, what's
The meaning of it?
What is it trying to teach you?
I ask myself that every day, and that is by far, out of all the things, phrases, meanings, anything, this is happening for me and not to me.
And it's hard when you're
It's
going
very,
through some shit.
very hard. I'll never
believe that.
I preach it all the time, and then I'm going through it, and I go to sit down at my computer, and then there it is, that flyer I made where it's, your story will be somebody else's survival guide. Your mess is your message. And I literally was like, fuck you. Like, looked at myself and said, fuck you.
So many times.
Yes.
I've seen that.
And I'm just like, oh my God. But it's that inner knowing and going. So it was going between the healing and the grieving, the healing and the grieving. What do I know? And then now my ego, my mind, just, grief, all of it. And it was really challenging, but I'd always bring myself back. And because I know that God has a bigger plan, and there's a reason for everything. And sometimes we may not understand it or see the bigger plan, but I know Austin believed in that so much too. And he would always tell me, he was so freaking connected. And he would always tell me, like, babe, you have no idea how big your purpose is. He could see it and whatnot, but he didn't talk about it, or I don't know. So it's like, I just know that there's a reason for all of it, even though I may never understand it. But that's where our faith was the same. He was a Jesus guy. I was a universe gal. People ask me all the time, like, oh, was that hard? Or no, because we accepted each other for who we were, and we never tried to change each other. And we both believed in the same thing. We were trying to bridge the gap. Like, he was trying to get people to understand, like, the Bible isn't what it says it is. Yeah. Yeah. And it scared me towards the end there, because he loved Jesus so much. He'd be like, babe, I cannot wait to meet Jesus. And I'm like, oh gosh, you're manifesting that. Like, I just saw how passionate he was about that. And so I know he's where he's meant to be right now for sure. And I feel him with me all the time. In the beginning, I think it was too fresh, but yeah, he's here a lot.
Yeah, and I think personally, what I've learned is that there's so many different, what I call interfaces.
Yeah.
So, if you're Christian through Jesus, if you're a universe gal, astrology, all these things,
Yeah.
mediumship, breathwork,
It's a whole
whatever,
one.
everything out there, I can get into my consciousness talk, as
Yeah. Yeah.
my wife would say.
I love
Maybe
it.
I could have my own podcast
Yes.
series about that.
Yeah.
But
do it.
maybe just throwing some breadcrumbs out there. My understanding is that there's so many different interfaces out there, depending on our own unique journey and experiences. Like, we align to the interface that makes sense to us. And the message behind these interfaces are always love.
Yeah.
And it's hard to put it in language. Even putting it in language is dulling its essence.
Yeah.
But everything is, if you just wipe away all of it, the only thing that remains is love.
Yeah.
So,
And we're all one.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean,
Jordan, do you know who Jordan Peterson is?
yeah.
Oh, yeah. So Austin loved Jordan Peterson, and he is somebody who knows the Bible from front to back and everything. He breaks it down and just explains it like really well. He just recently did an episode with Tony Robbins, and that one was really, really good too.
Yeah.
I'm a knowledge junkie. Like, that's something that I've always been passionate about: podcasts, audibles, seminars. Yeah.
It's really your own unique dialogue with your essence or your source, your creator, whatever you want to call it.
But try new things. Go experiment. If you've never been to a seminar or listen to one of these people's podcasts, try it.
Go to a breathwork journey.
Yeah, go to a breathwork journey. Yes.
Only if you feel called to it.
Yeah. But that's the best part
force.
is you're never going to know until you try things. You can only hear people's experiences and their advice, but why don't you decide for yourself? That's how I am. Anybody and everybody can tell you everything about it, but until you try it, you're not going to know.
Yeah, because it's all a personal experience.
Yeah.
Your entire existence is a personal experience. And I guess one thing I wanted to say is that there is no right or wrong way to do anything. And really get curious and follow your heart. If something excites you, or the universe keeps, or whatever you want to call it, keeps putting it in your path, keeps coming out,
nudging
synchronicities, things like that. Like, I would look into that, lean into that, and experience different things. Some things maybe you're like, no, that's not for me. Great.
Yeah.
And other things you're like, oh my God.
But you're never going to know until you try.
Set you on a different path. And
yeah.
I'm very much like a follow the universe kind of person. I think I've let go of so many things, and I'm not like an unstructured, like whatever, or like that type, but it's like, I think I've gotten to a place where I'm just extremely open to many different things. Not everything's for me. There's things that excite me, and that's what I chase. But when things come into my life, I see it as, again, a door, an opportunity. And I'm a person with a free will. I can choose to go down these doors or not.
I think that's my favorite, is the choice is always yours.
Right.
That's the one thing nobody can take from you, is your choice.
Yeah.
On everything and anything. Like, you get to choose, but yet we live and just we're told, oh, you shouldn't do this, you should do this, and we go off that. But like,
you also have a choice to listen to your mind or not.
Yeah. 100%. Yeah.
And
so
is your mind your friend?
Yeah. Yeah. So true.
Do you choose to give your power away every time someone does something that triggers you?
Yeah.
Where are those triggers coming from? Be so curious.
Yeah. Dig in. I think I'm seeing a lot of that lately. I have a lot of people in my life that are going through turbulent times right now. And it's hard for me because I've always been the fixer, the saver. I can help guide them, but I can't rescue them and save them. Because for me personally, I had to experience all the things I did to get to where I am.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, personal opinion. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Nope.
Let me just put everyone's mind at ease about that. Nobody knows what they're doing.
Yeah. But be intentional, I think. And being intentional is the most important thing.
Yeah.
If your intentions are pure and you're coming from your heart, then you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah. There are some things like with the physical body and our physical existence. Yeah. There's certain things that have rules around, right? And we can utilize that, like in the breath work. We're utilizing the body, the breath to connect with our body. But I don't know where I was going with this, but
Yeah.
I felt like I should have added a little bit something more to nobody knows what they're doing, but
Well, it's the truth, but you don't know until you try. So many people are so afraid of failure, right?
oh man.
But you have to fail in order to learn.
And imagine failing and realizing that you're fine.
Yeah.
And the relief you feel from that, and that you look back and you're like, man, I was so hard on myself.
Right.
I kept running these programs, these thoughts in my head. I thought this about myself. And you just realize how much of that just didn't
It's
matter.
made up. Yeah. So many people live in the future too.
If you've not had that failure, you wouldn't be able to look back.
Yeah. One common thing I see happen in a lot of people, the what if. Well, what if? And they play out this long scenario and then it goes and goes and goes. I'm like, oh my gosh, this hasn't even happened. But yet they're living as if it has.
Oh man.
What if it does work out? Why don't you go down that road instead?
I'm really being pressured to want to go into these consciousness talks.
Do it. Yeah. Seriously,
Start
though.
my own podcast.
Yeah. People need to hear it.
Yeah, with these what ifs.
Yeah. That's a big one.
And the future that hasn't happened yet.
Yes.
So, yeah, I guess if I wanted to put another nugget in this episode is to, the past has already happened. There's nothing we can do about it. The future is not yet written.
And you're writing it every day.
Yeah. And the only ever moment that matters at all
is now. Yeah.
It's the present moment. So, again, you get a choice. Do you want to live in the past of regret or all these things, or the future and anxiety or what ifs? Or do you want to experience your existence fully, which is being in now?
I would advise people to do an exercise where maybe start keeping a log or a journal of recognizing your triggers, like what happened, how did it make you feel, where did you feel it in your body, what thoughts came through, and when it was negative, and then rewrite it, because we're doing it to ourselves. And this stuff, it takes work, but when you can rewrite the narrative, that's why we say all the time, you're manifesting 24/7. It is not just woo-woo, something you do when you want to manifest good into your life. You are manifesting every part of your reality.
It's all energy.
Yeah.
Your thoughts, your physical body, everything.
Yeah. Your words are casting spells. And that's why another thing is the best revenge is no revenge. I have a couple people who are going through really hard things right now where they have been done so dirty, and I just keep advising them. I'm like, just remember, remain who you are, feel what you're feeling, but don't seek that revenge, because you're still putting that energy out there, and whatever you put out always comes back to you. It may not come back in that situation, but it can come back in another situation or through another person. That's why I always try and remain the bigger person, and because I understand how energy works. Like, it's very, but you don't know until you really go through it and it hits you. And I guess I've had too many of those moments where I'm just, I don't speak what I don't want to exist, Yeah.
And going back to our whole being presence talk, like essentially that's what meditation is.
Yeah.
to bringing yourself to complete presence. And that's not worrying about achieving something, not worrying about having to prove something, literally forcing yourself to do nothing. Well, let's put that seemingly nothing.
Yeah.
We can go down that rabbit hole. But also being a witness to your thoughts and doing nothing. The power of doing nothing, it's so deep.
The power of now. No, I think that is a good way to wrap up today's episode is just, be mindful. And because, even Maxwell and I, who have been doing a lot of healing work over the years and we've came so far, we have to constantly remind ourselves of that, to be present, because we are human and we get wrapped up in everyday life, and it takes that conscious awareness to be like, okay, bring myself back. I still have to like constantly tell myself that all the time. You're a lot better about it than me, but
Am I?
yeah, I think so. You're very calm and very grounded, and I'm very like boop, 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 all over the place, but I have gotten a lot better about it. It's definitely been challenging since losing Austin, but every day I'm actively working on it.
Yeah, and for me, like I've gotten to the point where I realize just existing is enough and fulfilling. Everything else is a bonus.
Yeah.
I'm not saying don't go chase your dreams. Have dreams, have goals, do it. Do what your heart is drawn to. Right. But don't do it in a way that's like you having to prove anything. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. Your mere existence on this planet is already justified. You don't need to have an excuse or prove your worth. And those that don't see it or don't see your worth or who you are, it's okay.
And they're not, let them go.
Let them, and like just appreciate them for who they are.
Yeah.
You do the work, and when you know.
And everybody's always just seeking that validation, that approval. But I think the most important question you could ever ask yourself is, what are people going to say about me when I die? It's more so a way of going inward of you and how you feel about yourself, how you make other people feel, who you are and how you show up.
Yeah, and a lot of those revelations, discovery, I have gotten through doing breathwork.
Yeah.
And some other modalities, but
breathwork is powerful. I think about it. You can be in any stressful situation, whether you're about to go out on stage or about to meet your boyfriend's parents or whatever, and your breath is the only thing that's going to bring you back, slowing your nervous system down. And I've been learning that in my academy lately too, where sometimes I am starting to feel anxious and then I bring it back to breath and I'm like, okay, I feel so much better.
And that's just the surface.
Yeah.
When you utilize your breath and finally finding your path home to yourself, nothing can take that away from you.
Yeah. And you can do it at any moment. So come join a 90 breathwork class. He hosts them every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Every 2 weeks.
Thursday night, Mystic Movement.
Yeah. And you have headphones on, you're laying down, it's super comfy, it's a vibe. You're just in your own world and he's facilitating and going around and making sure everybody's good. But we have been getting amazing feedback. People are loving it. It's an experience. Yeah. Any last words or info?
Not this time, I guess.
Okay. Oh, P.S. He's also in massage school.
Oh, yeah.
So he's doing massage, which is awesome.
Yeah. Apparently there's a term coined for where I find my path of service called holosomatic.
Okay.
So I already do the energy work, right? With the Reiki, the breath work, and the body work. And apparently those three things part of holosomatic.
You mastered all of them and you're combining them all in one. But pretty much, I mean, yeah.
I'm just following my heart, following my intuition, and what I guess the universe has kind of led me to without resisting it. I learned to stop resisting it.
Yeah, it's beautiful. And I've loved watching it. I think your transformation is one of my favorite journeys to.
Aw,
seriously, it really is. Like how fast because some people it takes years, but where you started, it wasn't even maybe a little over more than a year ago,
I am
right?
grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just incredible. But again, it's because you are choosing that. You're choosing to show up for yourself. You're choosing to show up for other people. And yeah, I think that's one of my favorite parts about everything is witnessing people's transformation and their journeys.
That's
Yeah.
what I like too. And having gone through my own,
Yeah.
I love facilitating that for other people, not as a personal gain,
No.
and I had to look into that, like, even recently. We were just having
Oh,
this
yeah.
conversation before
Yeah.
this podcast. I was like, where is this wanting to help other people coming from? And really doing that, like, ego dissection. And I've done a lot of work around dissolving my ego and being friends with it and not having it in the driver's seat. But, I still like to question things about myself and be curious. And yeah, like the reason I love doing it, not only has it helped me so much, but it's just really out of love and being of service and not having any expectation of outcome.
Yeah.
And it's also my personal continuation of my journey and where everything has led me. So
For sure. We've gotten to that place of where life doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be complicated. You're always going to come across challenges and obstacles and whatnot, but it's how you handle and resolve them too. There's an easier way. It's so peaceful.
yeah, and also realizing that your existence isn't all going to be sunshine and rainbows.
Yeah.
Even if you're completely healed, it's not going to be sunshine and
No.
rainbows. But realizing that your existence is a spectrum of one way is sunshine and rainbows, and the other way is like shadow and thunder. But there wouldn't be this vividness if not for these contrasts. There has to be
Where there's
contrast.
light, there's dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So experience it all, experience it fully, even the uncomfortable. It's there for a reason. You're here for a reason.
Yeah. This is happening for me and not to me. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Maxwell, for coming on. It's been a while.
Yeah.
Gonna have to get back into our routine and bring some good, juicy info for everybody. And yeah, we will see you all soon.
Bye, guys.